Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you happen to be. My name is John Bowman. This is the first in a series of videos on MLA Format. This video shows you how to format your overall paper to MLA standards. It does not cover the works cited page. That information is covered in a separate video. It also does not cover the details of how to do everything I'm about to show you. Those are covered in other videos as well. This is only intended to draw attention to the overall structure so that way, if you are trying to format your paper, you know exactly what you should be looking for. First, up here in the header, you have your last name and the page number. The page number should be used via the insert function. I will show how to do that in a different video so that way the page number automatically updates. If I come down here to another page, you'll know you have it right because it will automatically update. Second, beyond the header, you have your name, you have your instructor's name, you have the class. Some instructors would prefer that you also put the section here. Make sure you have the date. Use a format that makes sense. You can use the American format as I've shown here, or you can use the one that's used in other countries, such as the one across Europe where they put the date, the month, and then the year. Make sure you put the title here, and then underneath that, start your paper. Now I'm going to talk through a couple of these details so that you have that information. First off, make sure you use the name that you're known by for your instructor so that your instructor can easily line your work up with any grade books or other documents that they may have. As concerns the instructor name, my advice here is make sure that you go too high rather than too low with the educational level. So if you are taking classes at something like a university, always assume that your instructor has a PhD, and so always use doctor, unless you know that the instructor does not, and then it's okay to put some other title, preferably the one that the instructor gave you at the beginning of the semester. Again, if you do not know the instructor's education level, I would go too high because it's better to err on the side of caution than to go too low. The reason is because if you go too low and they do have a PhD, that's the second line of your paper, and they're going to spend the entire paper thinking about how you went too low with your education level. Again, some instructors want you to put the section number. If you're not sure whether they do or don't, make sure you do put the section number. I just talked about the date just a moment ago. I want to call attention to the title. Make sure that the title gives an indication of the paper's purpose. So your purpose as a writer, don't use the assignment. There's nothing worse than as an instructor looking at the paper when it's been handed in and saying assignment number 1. I don't know what that means. You're not telling me a single thing about your paper, so make sure that you do have something that is more descriptive of your purpose as the writer. And then furthermore, again, underneath everything else in the entire paper is double spaced. I want to call your attention to the fact that from the date, you can push down, it jumps straight to the title, and then from the title down to the very first line of the paper. Make sure you indent each line by 1 tab stop unless your instructor gives you different information. So some instructors may prefer that you use something like 5 spaces instead. Okay, that's your overview, and I will give you specific details on how to do some of these mechanics in other videos.